Welcome, everyone, to Wednesday Night is Overbooked, your second, third, fourth, fifth favorite wrestling talk show. And I'm here with the illustrious panel again. To my stage right, the man, the myth, the legend. It is Right Eye Humble. Except on here, we know him as LeftEyeEgo. How are you, sir?
Doing great, man. Ready to talk some Netflix wrestling, man. Second episode was pretty decent. I can't wait to talk about it.
All righty. And right below me, the medical marvel that is Matt the Unbearable 73. How are you, sir?
Okay, today, gents, trying for some wrestling talk and, hopefully some good talk.
Nice. And finally, to round out the panel, he was not only a member of the Duke Blue Devil. He was not only a Duke Blue Devil. He was Christian Leitner's personal valet. We have Duke Devil 95. How are you, Brad?
That is a scurrilous lie. Everyone knows that the Christian Leitner's personal valet was Brian Davis. As for how I'm doing, I'm older, unfortunately.
Was it your birthday now today?
Yesterday.
Your birthday?
Yeah.
Oh, that is so cute.
Yeah.
How
Only
old are
the
you,
second
sir?
digit changed. Fortunately.
How old are you, sir?
I got a 5 and a 2 now. I'm gonna reverse them. I think I'm gonna have dyslexia on my age for a bit.
Okay.
So.
Seriously, no one cares.
So, as Mr. Ego says in the chat, we had a wonderful showing last week. Our viewer retention was up. Every metric we had was up last week. Wonderful. Thank you, everyone, for being a part of this. And yes, we're going to shoot for double-digit likes again because Mr. Ego here on his trip to Mexico City got us luchador masks. And if we get to double-digit likes, we will be wearing these wonderful things to start the show. So the countdown is on to double-digit likes. As Ego is right on top of that. So again, if you are lurking around, please also check down in the description. All our socials are.
I'd say you better subscribe or we'll bash in some skulls, right?
And subscribe, get these watch hours up, because if we get this channel monetized, we can start doing super chats. We can do new emojis. We can do a whole lot of fun things. Speaking of fun things, what a difference a week makes. Holy shnikes. As this past Monday was the actual debut episode of Monday Night Raw, not that 3-hour infomercial thing. So,
well, I don't want to overstate. So what we had last week was like the preseason game. You know what I mean? And it was still entertaining. It had a lot of good stuff on it, and just they had it. They rightly tested stuff out before they dropped the serious stuff in.
right.
Fair.
For me, it was kind of like free comic book day. They always show they give you some nice Avengers comics, some nice Justice League comics, some Superman comics that really don't relate to the actual story, just to bring you in.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're back to story. Thank you.
So this was also as I was saying, so last week was a 3-hour show with 4 matches. This was a 2.5-hour show, 5 matches. The pacing was a lot better.
Well,
this week.
Okay, so that is my biggest criticism of WWE, and why, as a person who tends to AEW, why I watch their products and enjoy them, but I tend to fast forward to stuff. There's way less wrestling than there needs to be. Meaning, they need to have they need to cut down the 20 minutes of non-wrestling between the matches to fit, maybe 12 minutes and have more matches.
Okay, so but But this is what separates AEW from WWE. All this intermittent stuff, these backstage segments, these promos tell a story. Where if it's just match after match after match after match after match,
You don't have to have match after match after match. But I mean, I'll be honest. Like whenever a promo starts, and there's like only two people like in all wrestling who I'll listen to a 15-minute or 20-minute promo from. Okay, and so like, but then when they come out, and so let's say Triple H comes out, and I'll listen to him talk for 10 to 15 minutes, and then another guy comes out and talks 10 to 15 minutes. You know, instead maybe do an interactive promo for 15 minutes, then get a match. You know what I mean? Or something, because or do a vignette, like not just them standing there talking. Do like where like one of my favorite all-time promos was when Booker T got his ass handed to him in the supermarket. You know, let's remember that. You know, like do something on
That
screen.
was good.
Don't just talk for 20 minutes because it gets very. I mean,
stale.
Yeah, how much can you say in 20 minutes unless you're just like three guys who can talk for that long?
Well, just we'll let the Rock go, and just let the Rock and he will talk for the entire opening.
And he's best left talking in very small, like one big speech every 7 months, so you don't get to hear the same thing over and over again.
That's all I hear is the same thing over and over and over again with him. I'm just saying.
No, I mean, I agree. What I'm saying is you have CM Punk. So I'm going to just go broadly, like not CWE. CM Punk, like MJF, Triple H, you know, borderline Drew McIntyre, though he does get repetitive if he goes more than 7 or 8 minutes. Maybe. Let's say there's a couple more guys, but beyond those guys, everyone else tends to repeat the same stuff over and over. Even Cody, once you get about 8 minutes, it's the same thing again. Like you just rewind.
Okay.
So and cut down on the promos and maybe have them what was a good? What's something they did really good? Like when they were forget it, let's just go on. I don't want to belabor the point. You guys know what I'm saying. You know, it's just know.
Okay, so. Real quick, going around the horn. Did we heard Matt here? So, without giving anything away, Brad, your thoughts of the more what were you used to Monday Night Raw?
I actually did not get to watch the entire show. I watched most of it through the highlights and everything. But you know, looking at the reviews and everything, we had solid matches. And we had promos, which we expect. And the thing that I liked is we are advancing storylines because everything was like, let's get towards the Royal Rumble. I'm going towards the Rumble. You're going towards the Rumble. Oh, also, let's also keep in mind that we are still here to fight Thanos. Thanos apparently is now Roman Reigns. And I guess Drew is Cap or something. I don't know. But there's this, they're trying to keep the bloodline storyline slightly there, even though I kind of think the bloodline is not what it used to be.
It's
so
gonna morph a little bit. It's gonna morph a little bit.
Yeah.
So, Ego, your thoughts?
I thought this one was actually fun. I was like, okay, I'm looking forward to this. The promos mean something. We're headed towards Royal Rumble, even though they've got Saturday night's main event in like a week and a half. So I'm like, okay, well, at least we're moving towards something. The matches make sense. The matches were actually pretty good. I was surprised at that. And the good thing about this being on Netflix is now is I can skip to points where I want to see it. Like if it's a 12-minute match, I'm like, I'll skip and see what happens at minute 7 or 8. And I'm like, okay, and then I can rewind back and see what happened to get him there. But overall, it's pretty decent for the second week. Actually, it was pretty good.
I could have done that if you had Peacock.
I will say this.
I
will say this. I am quite happy that my Netflix tier, I have the ad-based tier because apparently I missed a promo from PFC. Oh darn, missed that one.
Oh no,
Shucks. I know. It's
wait, are they still there?
Oh yeah, they're still there. They're
Pure
still there.
Fusion Collective.
Yeah, pure. You mean the pure garbage collection? Yes, they're
you got
still
dyslexia too. Same thing as I do with my age.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Okay, so I thought that this show was a much better show, and just by the opening segment, hearing promos about going to the Rumble, and we'll get into that a little later. This could be one of the most stacked Rumbles for quite some time. I mean, not since like '92. I mean, that Rumble was stacked, absolutely stacked.
Don't misconstrue my complaint. I enjoyed this Raw. It felt like a live football game.
Okay, yeah.
Especially the camera work. WWE's camera work for the past year has been amazing. So, but just give me a little more of the action and a little less of the lack of action. A little more, just more.
So, speaking of action, let's talk about some of the matches. We'll save the worst kept secret for last, which made me laugh like crazy. But I want to start with the main event, a match that we've seen multiple times, but for some reason this match they wanted to let you know this feud is over. Finn Balor, Damian Priest, that Falcon Arrow off the balcony into those tables. The margin of error you have for that to go well, you're off by a little bit, and that goes wrong in a big hurry. But I thought that was one of the best spots that I have seen for at least on a Raw in quite some time.
Oh yeah, I mean, so and to that point you made, Joker, about the Falcon Arrow, and talking about the professional wrestlers, that move probably gets hit off camera, I'm going to say 15, 20 times a month, somewhere. And we don't hear people dying constantly. The level of skill performance professional wrestlers are at needs to be stated, yes. like it's real in the sense that they're entertaining us, just like where stuntmen are, but right. it people need to understand that, like they're working together to put the show on, but the level to pull these moves off like they're nothing. I dare someone, like, even when I was in shape in my teenage years, to think of climbing up off of a turnbuckle, which is about 6 feet high ish, give or take, and jump like 10 feet to the floor, and a standing jump, just a regular standing jump. I dare someone. I wouldn't want to do that when I was like athletic, healthy. You know what I mean? And these guys do that like it's nothing. It's
right. And the best part about this is, again, folks, there's no take two in this during a show.
Well, that's because Vince is retired and he doesn't tell them, go back and repeat the match.
Yeah, but if you break the guy's neck, there is no take two. Right. I just actually played it back on my TV here, and we've ragged on Damian Priest for a bit, the character work and everything, but that was a solid workmanship when you look at the way he did it, how careful he was
to protect Finn.
He protected Finn so well, and the way it landed, it looked really good, and everyone was safe. So, I mean, we rag on him for the whole, bisexual Undertaker bullshit, but that was solid work. That's what you got to say about that spot.
And it got a just deserved holy shit from the crowd.
It did, yes, very much so.
The other thing that I think is really something that's lost is how the crowd just lets it happen. I mean, the crowd is right there. You would think, like, if you see this like in like football matches or baseball, the crowd might get involved. The crowd knows enough to just let it happen and not get involved.
That is true, but what you don't know, this is a wrestling secret, because even I did real wrestling in high school. We also went and tried out for the choreographed wrestling. There are a lot of plants in that crowd.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a whole army of them there, and they know to move to the areas where the spots are. And they'll say to the crowd, "There's going to be a spot. If you will let you in it, but don't interfere." They're setting the whole area up for all these spots.
Right? Because if you notice, nearly every North American premium live event, on the hard cam spot, front row center, there is a guy wearing a neon green Smiley shirt. That's a plant. His name is Smiley.
And also, I don't know the ones on the West Coast, but if like watch matches in like the Philly area or the Jersey area, I recognize some people I knew growing up as plants in the crowd.
Yeah.
You know,
Nice.
yeah. So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
So another thing that I saw that I'm like, oh, I want to see this happen more often. It was a short match. It was The Miz and Sami Zayn. Now, normally, Sami Zayn uses the Blue Thunder Bomb to set up the haluva kick. This match, it went the opposite. He used the haluva kick to set up the Blue Thunder Bomb, which is a much better looking move than the haluva kick. And I thought that was wonderful. I would love to see Sammy incorporate that a whole lot more. That's just my thought.
Yeah.
Now that Triple H, this is like the year that Triple H is like all Vince vestige of Vince are gone now. So this is 2025. You might see guys like Kevin Steen / Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn pulling out stuff they used to do in the indies when they were like, so what Vince would do is he would pigeonhole every guy and say, you have to wrestle this way.
Right.
And unfortunately, Vince only likes certain types of wrestling. We would never see like a whole bunch of stuff.
And to a degree, there is still as it's called, the WWE style matches.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. What I'm saying is you might see under Triple H who, this is why a lot of guys are over in AEW who would never come back because they don't want to wrestle WWE like bodybuilder matches, you know?
Okay.
That's why Batista never came back because he doesn't want to wrestle PG bodybuilder matches. He wants to wrestle hardcore wrestling matches, like you know,
Mox as well.
And now Batista's health wise, he's too far past wrestling, so he can't come back. But I think we'll see an evolution with Triple H because of letting this stuff back in and try to build bridge with all these guys who, like,
well, you know. I think Triple H is going to allow a little more freedom than Vince did, as we'll talk about in a bit. Now, we also crowned the inaugural, goes down in history, the first women's intercontinental champion. It was between Dakota Kai and Lyra Valkyria, which I thought was actually a very good match.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good match.
Yes.
I mean, Lyra hits a vertical suplex from the apron onto the floor.
Yo.
Both those ladies went splat.
Yes. Yeah.
And those are, again, I remember mentioned this before about jumping to the ground like that. Those are women doing that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
was impressive.
And you could tell that the crowd was into the match. They were into it because when Dakota hit her version of the GTS, the GTK, and she hits it, and usually that's it. You see Lyra slowly rolling out of the ring, and Dakota's reaching for the grab, and you could audibly hear the crowd going, "Ah!"
Yeah.
So they won the crowd over. This was an excellent match. Now, as far as Lyra goes, I think this is probably going to be the best thing for her, especially because I think in the Rumble, we all know there's going to be some women stars who are going to be on the return. Don't be surprised if Lyra takes that title into WrestleMania to defend it against Becky Lynch.
Okay.
Because that's going to be the best thing for her, because Becky, again, and we'll talk about more of the women, the three who are left. They're going to be in the championship conversations, of course, but they're at the tail end of they're getting close to the tail end of their run. They have fewer years in front of them than they do behind them. So I think if Becky puts Lyra over, it's going to help Lyra to connect with the fans, help her get a much larger push, because the last time Becky put her over was in NXT, which again, most WWE fans don't watch NXT.
And I I seem to remember like when Lyra first appeared on Raw, she didn't do that good. It seemed like her debut kind of felt lackluster. Am I mistaken or?
She's not a top tier women's wrestler. Maybe she can gain the top like skill wise, but if you watch, she bricks it occasionally, and like
she is a solid in ring worker, but she's a personality void. Right now, there's no connection to the crowd. She just doesn't have it yet.
Yeah. Okay. Do you think it's an acquired it? Or something that like this is her ceiling now.
Okay, so
that's a good question. Actually,
I do think some people are just born with it, like Oba.
Mm-hmm.
Oba just has it.
Yeah.
Tiffany Stratton just has it.
Okay.
I would say for most of her career, say someone like Liv did not have it.
Okay.
And that had to do with a lot of stop storytelling. But when you finally gave her a character that you could build on and have her sink her teeth into it and really work that character, she developed into a star.
You could say the same about Becky, because until she took the shot from Nia in the nose. I mean, that completely. I mean, she was a solid worker. She's great. She did a great job at wrestling. But until she walked up the stairs with the blood coming off her face, she didn't have a character as much as she did then. Right. I mean, that transformed her. It's kind of like it's like you need that injection of something, the super soldier formula, to awaken whatever in you. To come out and say, this is the superstar I'm supposed to be.
Two guys we talk about all the time, LA Knight and Damian Priest, both at the right time in their 40s, took advantage of it, right? So you got like unless you're like born with that charisma, that ability, so to speak, when the opportunity happens, you have to have the skill set and to take advantage of it. Like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Now I was a fan of Stunning Steve as a tag team wrestler, but
Crimson Mask
mid card. I mean, I never thought he'd be Stone Cold Steve Austin. But he stole the right gimmicks.
Crimson Mask.
Yeah, he stole the right gimmicks and took advantage of the opportunity Vince gave him.
And probably one of the best examples of all is Roman Reigns.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Roman started off. Roman started off as strong and silent in the Shield. Solo, when they decided to make him a solo act, the big dog, it fell flat because he was being pushed in a way that just didn't work.
Okay. He
takes some time off. Illness helped that, but he developed now the character he was always supposed to be, kind of this mob boss, this mafiosa type character, and comes back and carries the company for almost 4 years.
Sure.
Another one that Joker's not going to like me saying, but the bottom line is Rocky Maivia was nothing until he figured out his gimmick.
Okay.
I mean, if he continued being Rocky Maivia, Joker would be very happy at this point.
He stole the entire Nations of Domination gimmick. Encapsulate it all into one character.
But really the big story came down to one thing last night, and it was in the opening match. As we're just going to look at this right here really quick.
Oh my God, I can't believe this happened. I'm shocked.
It was the worst kept secret of the business. But ladies and gentlemen, Penta is here.
They really need better. I was not happy with the announcers. They should have said "shut up" when that happened.
Okay,
let the crowd just
So
fair
now,
or drop an "oh my God." You know what
I
mean?
I laughed my ass off because just the week before, when Chad Gable said, "I want the best luchador that you can find," The segment right before that was the vignette with Penta. Earlier that day, WWE Shop released the merchandise, which he is, as of right now, no surprise, the top selling merch guy right now. And plus, they've been teasing Penta for a few weeks now. This is the worst kept secret. I'm like, Michael, you weren't being very secretive about it at all.
I mean,
Which was not the only botch. Which we'll come back to Penta again because I wanted to laugh at this too. The promo segment between Jey Uso and Gunther. Gunther's just amazing, so awesome. Now, as again, Michael Cole said at Saturday night's main event, Jey Uso has a chance to win his first singles championship. I'm like, where were you a few months ago?
Wait a minute.
He's like me. He doesn't remember much that the Usos do.
Well, there's that too. Wow.
You've been sick.
Duh.
You've been sick lately, so I let it slide. I mean,
I'm sorry, Joker. You need the mic drop video for that. I'm
yes,
sorry.
I do. That's just wonderful.
God.
Now, this was also during War Games when Tiffany Stratton was announced. Michael Cole said this is her first cage match ever. I'm like, Michael, you called the Elimination Chamber match, which is a cage match. But the best one ever. This was at a WrestleMania. Michael Cole was still new, and he said something to the effect of, be sure to stick around afterward for the press conference when we will talk with our new WWF champion, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold's match hadn't happened yet.
How long has he been doing this?
30 years.
Ooh, all right.
See, this is why you shouldn't drink before you go on camera.
Right.
As I'm drinking.
Is the TV announcer heard in the same? No, that is probably
Nope.
But Michael Cole is the most over person in wrestling today.
Oh yeah.
He would have to murder children live on air to get people to boo him.
They probably cheer still.
Depends on which kids it was, I guess. But
Depends on the kid. I mean, if it was Rey Mysterio's kid, he'd probably be okay. The crowd would be okay with it.
Maybe. So back to Penta. I was very pleasantly happy with the presentation he got. I am glad they did not give him some cheesy Def Rebel DeMariachi music. Instead, they gave him Def Rebel metal. Okay, just it's not great, but it's better. And they allowed him to be himself. I mean, he does that little shimmy walk, which I'm sure Ego will be practicing soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they allowed him to be him. And to be quite honest, you could not have picked a better opponent for him than Chad Gable.
Yes.
Because, oh, dear God, the way Chad Gable sold that destroyer, you would think was due.
Bro.
I thought he took his arm off.
Yeah, this break. Yeah, the inverted arm.
He's gonna beat him with his arm or something.
Which is now called the sacrifice. They call that the sacrifice now.
It's awesome. Yeah, I remember do that in Lucha. It's awesome.
So I remember. So we have all seen Penta matches, and I've seen highlights of Penta and whatnot. And as far as a spot fest goes, this was not a spot fest.
Well, Chad Gable can't do that type of match.
Chad Gable's not a spot fest guy.
Yeah.
But if you were expecting a Lucha Underground match or a AEW match where it's where it's where it's your couple guys on the head on their head on the apron, and you weren't going to get that. But I thought this match was actually really good because of one thing. Penta sold a knee the entire match.
Yes.
It built a story that gave Penta the babyface comeback.
Yes.
And then when he hits the Penta which is just a pump hand, which is like a pump handle driver. Crowd was over. The crowd was already over.
Yeah.
From presentation, everything, then they gave him time to speak.
Yes.
And you could see his kids right there in the front row. Kids were crying.
Right.
They were
yes.
And I didn't need to understand what he was saying in Spanish. I understood the emotion that was coming from him.
Yeah.
And so I would like to know everyone's thoughts on the Penta. Matt, you're the most worried about the presentation of Penta. So let's start with you.
So I've been a fan of Pentagon Jr. since Lucha Underground days.
Yeah.
The dude can wrestle. And there's a whole bunch of guys actually from the era who anyway. The dude can wrestle any style that's out there. He knows how to put guys over. He knows how to put himself over. As Joker was saying, well, the reason that the knee selling is important is because Chad Gable's style is a classic wrestler who works a joint, works a limb, and all that. So by selling properly, he's selling Chad Gable's wrestling style in the ring. And for coming into a new company, a lot of these guys have worked behind the scenes together before, so they really know each other.
Right.
But when you go on air and say, I'm going to sell I'm the new guy and I'm going to sell the senior guy's wrestling style, even though he's putting me over, that builds up credit in the back, and that's one great thing. But the thing I worry most in WWE is, and some of this is justified, like the Undertaker is a protected character. They're never going to, risk his legacy, right? But when the Undertaker came around, the way his legacy established was they let him no sell a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
And Pentagon Jr., like for example, if he gets in the leg like Chad Gable's ankle lock, he will be putting middle finger to the face and saying, "Go ahead, break it, I dare you." He wouldn't do a classic, go for the rope or whatever. He's a hardcore sort of mini Undertaker ECW style wrestler in terms of his personality. So they had better let him not, I don't want to say no sell submission holds, but never, he should never submit to a submission hold. Never.
Agreed.
His character is he gets beaten unconscious before he quits.
I'm gonna say this. I think and this is just what I saw from what I watched in this match from what I know about him. They let him be himself within the confines of a WWE style match.
I'm not saying about this match, Booker. What I'm saying is
I didn't say.
Yeah. Okay.
But what I'm saying is there's going to be a bit of a learning curve for him because he's going to have to adjust to a WWE style match. But I believe they're going to give him enough freedom to be himself so that it fits, so that he can work more matches and have a longer and have a broader base.
Well, what I'm getting at is, let's say of his next 15 or 20 matches in WWE, if a guy has a submission hold, you almost always have to lose to it, right? Pentagon Jr. will let the position hold knock him unconscious and take the referee drop arm before he will surrender. They had better let him do that, So that's his character. It was a miracle when AJ Styles came in and Vince let his character stay the same. Vince is gone, so Triple H is smarter than that. I faith he'll do it, but when you're a fan of a wrestler for a long time and they go to someplace with WWE that can change their style, you just don't want to see it ruined.
Well, yeah, and Vince was known for this, to change for the sake of changing.
Mhm.
So, Brad, thoughts?
So I enjoyed the match. Like I've only seen a little bit of Penta, honestly. Looking forward to him actually displaying more of his style. A couple things that stuck out to me when he was being introduced and he's walking in. I felt like they kind of downgraded him because they said he was like the second best luchador out there.
Okay, well.
I
When your
just mean,
roster, when your roster has Rey Mysterio, the Hall of Fame, Amer.
I just don't know that needed to be said when someone is coming out to debut. The other thing that I saw, and this was in some of the reviews, is apparently there was heat on the length of his post promo. It was only 2 or 3 minutes. What was that about?
Okay, so this was my thought on this, and then I have heard other things that there was no backstage heat.
Okay,
nothing.
Okay,
because
why there would be,
because probably a Meltzer drawing up.
Okay,
saying shit. Who knows? Again, Dave, I don't know if that was you. I don't know, but there was a rumor that some of the matches got shortened, and they were upset that they didn't get more match time. And I'm like, the show only lasted 2.5 hours.
Right.
How long was the match itself?
That match was like 15 minutes.
Yeah. You maybe complain about the 25-minute promos before you complain about Penta's match. I think it was something like probably one dude complained, and he's friends with someone like Meltzer or whatever, and
his promo after is like what, 3 or 4 minutes at most.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Okay, Ego, as being the most, as actually have been to the land of Pit and to recently, and seeing a lucha mass, a lucha event, and you were also a big fan of lucha. Underground. Rest in peace. Prince Uma is now being buried over on AEW. What were your thoughts?
I will say the way that you guys felt when you heard CM Punk come back to WWE is the way that I felt when I saw Pentagon in WWE. Like, I never thought he'd be able to be on that stage, even though I think that he deserved to be there, rightfully so. It's just like, well, hey, what are you guys going to do with him if you get there? You're just going to make him a regular luchador and actually take away from his talents, like make it much slower. And to their credit, they didn't. I mean, I don't know if those are his kids or not that were crying.
Those are his kids.
I felt that. I was like, I know I'm not related to you guys, but I've waited to see him on this grandest of stage with the ability to be himself. There are some people that come into something pre-made with their own setup. I mean, the minute I was doing this, the minute I saw him, there's certain things that are just natural. Yeah, and that's one of them. Acknowledge me and Seto, Miedo. Like they go together like peanut butter and jelly.
I'll say this. Give that one more week, and
that's going over.
Right over.
Yeah, that's going. Like, everyone's going to do it. I mean, I know that he stopped him. Go ahead.
I'm going to say this: if I'm Paul Levesque, and I'm laying out my Royal Rumble lineup, the first two I put in on the men's side because the first two get a full intro.
Okay.
Number one, Uso, Jay Uso. Let that crowd yeet. You let that crowd yeet and go crazy. And then as soon as he's into the ring, Seto, Miedo, and let Penta just strut down that aisle. You let him interact with the crowd.
Yes.
That place will pop. Absolutely.
That's smart. I mean, I the fact that even Penta had the presence of mind to know when the crowd was kind of dipping a bit. Oh,
Salute.
Oh, salute. Of course.
Because we haven't had a drink yet, so here we go.
Oh, yeah. But it was a fact that even when Penta realized the crowd was dipping a little bit in the energy, that's where he started hitting his chest. And the thing is, he only did it twice. And the crowd already knew what to do. Like, they were getting into it. So, I mean, he had crowd presence. charismatic as hell. He has his built-in Cero Miedo already in there. And Chad Gable, shout out to him for selling the hell out of those big spots. I thought he died twice.
That Destroyer was the best sell I think I've seen. He just went bing.
Boom. Yeah, I was like, I think the thing is, it would have caught people by surprise and have not seen that move. Like the way he caught it, flip, and dropped, and you're like, oh, what the fuck did I just see? And you're like,
see, I had not watched any Penta matches before, so
bro,
I mean, I'd seen some, but like I didn't see that move. I'm like, oh, that looked freaking painful. I mean, that was that was selling well.
Okay, it's
playing it well.
It's basically a flying pile driver.
Yeah,
it's a Canadian Destroyer where you also move laterally.
Right.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. So.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Triple H will never allow this. But yo, Brad, if you watch Lucha, Penta wrestled Io Sky, bro. It was amazing.
That's not happening.
Yeah, he's the one that sent me that one, bro. He was
I sent you that, Brad.
Oh, bro. You gotta watch it. Like it's
a little uncomfortable at times. It's a little uncomfortable to watch
not, because it's not real. It's not
right.
Yeah.
But the visual is sometimes it's a little uncomfortable. But
yes, it was
so
yeah. But yeah, go ahead.
So Penta in Lucha has wrestled Io Sky. He's wrestled Kairi Sane. He's wrestled Chelsea Green. So there's a lot of folks.
Yeah.
He's wrestled Rey Mysterio. So there's a lot of folks that know who Penta is.
Yeah, dude.
He actually might have wrestled both Rey Mysterios if I remember correctly.
Damn.
But
Senior Andrew.
Yeah.
Wow.
But if there's one guy who could reintroduce intergender wrestling in a way that
it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
And I don't want to.
Hey, guys, women are be able to serve in combat.
I don't want to see mixed tag matches. I just
put that thought out of your head. It's not happening.
Yeah.
The closest thing we got to that was Rhea hitting a riptide on Dom. That's as close as you're gonna get.
I'm still gonna hold out hope for something interesting because
I'm with Matt.
They put those stupid intergender matches that I just can't watch them.
I want to see Bronson Reed versus Candice LeRae. So,
and mind you, I have seen go look this up. Piper in the Indies. She sold visibly, making two grown men run in fear from her because of what she did to them. Okay, right. She literally, they believe it was believable. Like she was covered like Mad Max in blood and glass after having body slam one of them through a pile of
Okay. And again, we've all seen this on the Indies, but that's because there's not enough the women in that. There's not enough women in that promotion, so they have no choice but to wrestle men.
Fair point.
But the point is, it's doable in a believable and safe way.
But put that thought out of your head. It's not happening. It's not going to happen.
I'm just tired of the sexism. I mean,
don't try to
let's talk about some equality. Damn it, women can do everything men can do.
Sure.
Just except whenever time
go grab Shiro. Bring her in on this. Come on.
Not intergender. Whenever a tag match happens, it's a 0 out of 10 every time for me.
Okay. So now, the fact that Penta appeared as a solo act in WWE and not as a member of the Lucha Bros brings us to our next topic, where Penta and his real life brother Ray Phoenix are both former AEW talent, day oneers to be exact. Ray Phoenix. Now, both of their contracts ended at the same time. Tony Khan added injury time to both of their contracts because he got a whiff that they were going to go to the WWE.
Well, no.
That's exactly.
He does it to everyone, though. You can see this is a constant AEW complaint because Tony Khan's father is the guy who owns the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Right.
They run AEW as an extension of the football business, and injury time if you just gets added on in many circumstances.
I get that. But this is not the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Well, tell the Khan family that.
Okay. Okay. But
they make their wrestlers submit to the same level of drug testing through the Jacksonville Jaguar program. They do give them the same level of healthcare, which is good. But they're like they run their businesses as one big unified thing, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, but the fact of the matter is, Ray had a lot more time of injury than Penta did. So as of right now, Ray is at home, sitting on ice, being paid to do nothing because Tony Khan has no creative plans for him at all. He's not going to use him on TV.
Because Tony Khan has creative ability.
How much longer?
It could be up to 9 months more.
The fuck out of here, yo!
It'll be before the end of the year for sure. We'll see.
That's
now
okay.
This also happened to Ricky Starks, who did not have injury time, but Tony Khan exercised a year option on Ricky Starks' contract and has no creative plans for Ricky Starks.
He has no creative plans for a lot of people.
Well, there's that as well. But this is part of the problem of how Tony Khan runs his operation. These people don't. So why are you going to just keep them there, not use them, continue to pay them?
Yeah.
That makes no business.
It's bad business. It's
very bad business.
You know?
But they're billionaires. I mean, like legit billionaires, not Vince McMahon billionaire. I mean,
okay, I get that. But
the only one who could say something to him is his dad. And as long as AEW breaks even, which it more than does, he doesn't care.
I mean, it's not it's just, I know that you're a billionaire. It's just the fact that it's not like you got screwed out of a contract. You fulfilled the terms of your contract. You got butthurt, and you added 9 months to his brother's contract, which is fucked up. I mean, it's like at that point, just paying someone to do nothing is dumb.
And earlier today, Meltzer, the unofficial mouthpiece for Tony Khan, was talking on the Wrestling Observer, was talking with Brian Alvarez. And there were some folks who were low-key praising the debut of Penta with the WWE.
Wow.
You better hope that doesn't get back to Tony Khan, or you're going to find yourself in the doghouse. The one of them was Swerve.
Oh.
The other one, another one, Matt, is your girl right behind you.
Mm-hmm.
Thunder Rosa.
Interesting.
And
she's tired. I could give you this on Thunder Rosa. She's tired of Mercedes Monet's push to nowhere.
Yes. As a lot of them are.
Yeah.
A lot of them are. Britt is also tired.
Because there are only two AEW, while they have like 6 or 7 men's titles, there's only 2 women's titles. Well, okay. Leaving out the honor stuff.
Doesn't count.
Yeah. There's only 2 AEW women's titles.
Correct.
There's heavyweight and TBS. And Mercedes Moné they've been giving out the push for this TBS title, but it's gone nowhere. And they're using all of the top level. Not to say Mercedes can't wrestle to a degree, but she's not on the same skill level as Thunder Rosa, as Britt Baker, as
Megan Bain. Maybe Megan Bain, Megan Bain, who tonight made I believe it was her 8. She came back for this Casino Gauntlet match.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so you've got these talent where, again, the more we see how Tony Khan operates, the more CM Punk is right. This is not a business that is built on making the money. I mean, they're all in Texas this year. It's at Global Life Field, and that's where the Rangers play. The
Okay.
Rangers.
Oh, that one. Yeah, my bad. That one. Yeah, the new one.
Okay.
The new stadium. Yeah.
They literally have half the stadium blacked out. Those tickets are not for sale.
So how big's that stadium?
Like
It's pretty big.
45,000.
Yeah.
Any stadium in Texas is twice as big as you think of any it would be.
And that's the new stadium. That new stadium is like 2 or 3 years old
Yeah.
too. So I'm just like,
So-
you had to have gotten pre-team booking. for that.
Now, as far as the breaking even goes, I don't think so because you're renting the stadium. You're not
Yep.
renting it by the seat. You're renting it by the venue.
Yep.
So unless you're jacking up those ticket prices, which I doubt, because you can't get anyone to watch your own TV show. I mean, 11 of the last 13 weeks since NXT has moved to the CW, NXT has beaten the flagship show Dynamite, where the best come to wrestle, every single week.
But it should, Joker, because no one watches TNT and TBS anymore.
No one,
They don't.
wow,
They
no one watches NXT either.
But the CW has a broadcast network. It has a far larger, like if you're a 10-year-old, you are 10 times more likely to watch something on the CW in a day than you are to watch anything on TNT in a month.
That's why Raw went to Netflix, because everything is now going to stream.
Yeah. So I'm telling you right now, within 5 to 10 years, TBS and TNT, there'll only be one of them left. And 10 years from now, there'll be none of them left. And all of the AEW's product, if it's still with Warner, is going to be on streaming. Streaming is taking everything away.
We'll have a Neuralink by then. It'll be okay.
If there's something left, because I mean, Saturday, their B show Collision, they finally beat NXT because NXT played a repeat of New Year's Evil on Saturday, and Collision's viewership was higher than that by about 50,000.
Again, Joker, I don't disagree with you, but the main point is, those cable networks
They're not making the money. They're not making the money. They're covering their bills. That's it. They're not. They're losing money.
They're making more than up on that
everything.
cable deal to cover whatever.
They're losing the money.
Because his
Everything.
father would step in and say, "Cut something."
Okay, go for it. Well, yeah, like half your roster, which is just so bloated.
There's so much bloat in AEW, and I just catch things online. It's literally like I'm gathering all the toys that I want, and I'm only going to play with some of them sometimes, but I don't want anyone else to have my toys. That's what I feel like Tony Khan is doing. He's a rich kid who says, I want all the best collectible action figures, and I'm only going to play with some of them now and then, but I don't want anyone else to play with my toys.
Well, that's how Vince was
Only
in the
child
2000s, WWE was horrible in 2000s.
Yeah,
correct.
This is how Dixie Carter ran TNA for the first 10 years. The hope is that this product range is big enough so finally in a couple of years, someone either comes in and buys it from them, or maybe they have another brother who knows how to run a wrestling business.
That's the other thing.
Or this was I heard this in 3 or 4 different places. Okay. So Shane left WWE in like way before all the crises happened with Vince and the women and all that. Either because of a power play between him and Stephanie when Triple H came into the picture, or because he fought with his father and wanted to make his own name in business, right? So he cut himself entirely out of WWE business in around 2008 or 9. Okay, and then Shane has refused since then to come back even before Vince sold the company to work behind the scenes in WWE. He wanted nothing to do with the actual business. He would wrestle, but that's about it, right? So then there were the rumors of the meeting between Tony Khan and Shane, and the word that leaked out was that Shane is interested in making his name independently of his father, running a wrestling business. And that's why that meeting happened. And that Tony Khan, we don't know for sure, but wasn't interested in handing any power over to someone else besides himself.
Never.
Shane has made inquiries about the NWA, which is out there on YouTube. So that's an example of someone who could come in if he gets power, like, okay, I'll buy half the company from you so you're still a name, but I have to run the company. You know, that's you know, that's kind of what happened in TNA, where TNA has improved as a product. You know, Dixie is now kind of phased out. And they have whoever technically owns it right now is decent at running a wrestling company.
Apex is called.
Well, that's the name of the company, but there's a person behind the scenes who I don't know their name right now. Anyway, the point I'm getting at is, like, what makes AEW interesting is the actual matches themselves, but little else. And
I've been watching it since it started on Max. I'm not impressed. There's nothing different that I've seen.
But again, you're not. So I enjoy in-ring matches primarily, and everything else has to build off that for me. If you got the greatest storyline in the world, but the matches suck, I don't care about it. You know, and it's you know, I watched. Like I said, I don't want to get a debate over whatever. You know,
Okay, that's fine.
The selling point of AEW is the in-ring work, and everything else pretty much falls flat or sucks,
Right.
with rare exception. You know, because some of these guys make their own storylines, like when MJF, you know, murder stomped what's his face, and anyway, that's the problem. AEW is it's going to be that way until Tony Khan wakes up, or his dad says stop this shit, or someone comes in to help him, because that's the way it is. And the mistake he's going to make is, because Vince is now completely purged from WWE, there's a whole bunch of guys who, like the Young Guns, will probably never go WWE because they've been friends with Triple H for over 20 years. He has their personal number. They talk to each other all the time. Okay. But they're anti-WWE for whatever reason. Okay. There's a bunch of guys who are anti-WWE and a bunch of guys who are anti-Vince. And all the anti-Vince ones might not, like Penta was anti-Vince.
Aleister Black, on his way back.
Yeah. You know,
Really?
Yes.
You know, AEW already handed the House of Black off to the other members now. And so there's a bunch of dudes, you know, Samoa Joe
is coming. Samoa Joe,
you know, who Swerve Strickland, you know.
So again, this is what makes the presentation of Penta such a big thing. It's like, okay, look what we can do. If you're not happy over there with how you're being handled, come to us. Come to us.
Yeah.
And the star making machine that is the WWE. Now, does it work for everybody? No. Andrade, key example, has kind of not done much since he's come back. But Aleister Black, Samoa Joe, I could see Dr. Britt showing up in a NXT.
She is anti-WWE though, so she's one of the ones.
Money talks.
Yeah,
I could see Swerve coming back.
Oh, Swerve! If they don't fix what they're doing with him, we're going to hear whose house is it? Swerve's house. One of these Royal Rumbles. Not next year, I think, because he has 2 years left on the deal, but maybe the year after.
Soon, right? Yeah, it's a lot to have to lose, but I mean,
you got something to say? Go for it.
No, I was just gonna say, I mean, AEW started out with so much promise, but again, a lot of what's happening mirrors my Dallas Cowboys. It's like one person that's supposed to be the owner and the GM makes all these decisions that have a terrible impact on the fan experience of the product that you're trying to sell everyone. And everyone's jumping ship. And not only are they jumping ship to your competitor, they're doing better than the competitor. They're doing better than you with some of the gimmicks you might have tried to give them. And they're using it as the competition, and you're getting absolutely murdered. So, I mean, you know, I don't know what's going to take for them to make steps in the right direction. Maybe give Chris Jericho an ownership stake and a GM stake so that he can do it.
Fuck Chris Jericho.
Okay, so I don't know. That's the only thing I think, because he was day one that I remember. I don't know how you fix this, because you.
Well, the fix is Tony Khan. You got to do something about Tony Khan.
Tony Khan needs to be removed. Someone needs to take the pen, take him out of the chair.
I don't know how else to fix this. So that's why I'm saying
you need someone,
and now it's just off.
Wrestling experience.
But You know what else was not able to be fixed? Bad gimmick stipulation matches, which is what we're going to talk about right now in our top 5. Which again, thank you for everyone who is in the chat. We got some folks lurking here. We are real close to that goal of double-digit likes. So if you want to see us look like fools next week wearing luchador masks,
I don't see why that would look foolish. I tried it on I put it on my dog. He looked awesome.
I know, right?
Exactly.
So we're only a few likes away. Get that like in there again. All information is down below in the description.
I say you better subscribe or we'll bash in some skulls, right?
Or Harley will get really mad at you. Okay, so gimmick stipulation matches. We see these all the time. Matter of fact, in the WWE, they even turn some of them into premium live events all unto themselves. These are your cage matches, your Texas death matches, these type of things. We are coming up with a definitive 5 worst, or at least a top 3 worst, based on our top 5.
Mhm.
So, as we score these, your number 5 gets the 1 point, and so on up the ladder. So, Mr. LeftEyeEgo, we're going to start with you. What is your 5th worst stipulation match?
So for me, because of my time spent watching this, I found them more of gimmick matches on there because I didn't necessarily know the storylines that went with all these. So 5th is Briscoe versus Patterson, King of the Ring evening gown match for the hardcore title.
The evening gown match.
There's a lot happening in just that sentence of what it's my 5th.
We'll just leave it there.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, Matt.
So my number 5 is the hardcore evening gown match, the last one of which was Briscoe versus Patterson.
Okay.
And for those who don't know, a hardcore evening gown match is a male match. It's not a female match. Right? It is like you take a hardcore match, which in and of itself is okay, right? And you, why would you put them in evening gowns? What purpose does that serve? Now,
humiliation.
Let me just clarify. Historically, before like the early 1980 or so, these were little sort of like comedy matches. They'd be 3 minutes long.
Right.
They time filled on the card when you didn't have TV to do promos and whatever. But they should have faded away when they started being able to have the TV in the studio, so the studio can hear them talking to do promos. So,
gotcha.
Yeah. So that's what
Brad, your 5th least favorite.
So again, this is for me the worst pro wrestling gimmick matches. So I looked at my 5th and I said, what is one of the best? And I'm like, my mind, one of the best is Hell in a Cell. So let's really F it up and make it the Kennel from Hell.
Kennel from Hell. Good one.
Well
Good
done,
one.
sir.
Big Boss Man versus Al Snow, all because Big Boss Man made some pepper steak. Took Al Snow's dog, killed it allegedly, cooked it up, and fed it to Al Snow. But what made this quote quasi Hell in a Cell much different was the whole thing was surrounded by wild dogs. The only thing wild they did was take craps around the ring the entire time. Thank God it was a one and done.
Yes. So my least favorite, one of my least favorites, insert city name street fight.
Really?
It's a hardcore match. That's all it is.
Oh, true.
Okay. And really, what separates a Boston street fight match from a Philadelphia street fight match? One has
400 miles, 300 or 400 miles.
One has beans involved. One has cheesesteaks involved. That's it.
One has Eagles. One has Patriots.
That's fair. That's very fair.
It's just a hardcore match. Street fight, the hardcore, whatever. It's a hardcore match. It doesn't need the extra to it. So Ego, you're number 4.
My number
gimmick match.
Number 4, Rock v British Bulldog, No Mercy 1999. First one to land in dog poo loses.
The dog
Dog
poo.
poo match. Okay.
Yes, I heard that was real.
Dog poo.
I
do not
remember
that match.
I don't remember the match, but I remember reading about it when I was looking up some stuff.
It was like right before British Bulldog, I think, retired. It was like some of his
Yeah.
last matches. It was,
I mean, that's almost as bad as the Baron Corbin Roman Reigns dog food match.
That's gross. Okay.
Okay, Matt, you're number 4.
It's called a blindfold match.
Oh, those are terrible.
Hate those things.
Nice.
Basically, the wrestlers blindfold each other or are blindfolded and wrestle a match.
Right.
I mean, yeah. So.
I remember I saw one of those. I was at WrestleMania 7. The blindfold match was between Rick Martel and Jake Snake Roberts.
Yeah. I think that was the last like notable. Like in the Indies, I still see them. I go, but but like the last notable one, I think was that WrestleMania one.
Yeah. Brad, you're number 4.
Oh my goodness, Mr. Joker! I am going to say the Punjabi prison match.
It's that low. You have it that low. Oh my. Punjabi prison match. Okay.
I will. I want to push back a little bit on that, Brad, but I'll give you reasons.
Well, because I have some things higher for other reasons.
Okay.
But again, I don't know. It's escaping a prison of bamboo.
Twice. Two separate. It's
wait.
Wait. Twice.
The worst is there were only 3 of them. I went back. There were 3. Who was the first one?
The great Khali.
No, the first one was Undertaker and Big Show.
What?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
That is
what the F? At least the other ones you had Khali and Jinder. So at least you could go with the racial stereotype. But I'm like, what is it? Why is Undertaker and Big Show wrestling in a Punjabi prison match? Do they want curry? I don't know.
Well, okay, here's why. Okay. Wrestling is very big in India, and WWE has not been able to break into that market very well.
Well,
a Punjabi prison match is a real hardcore match in India.
Okay.
Khali, before he had his legs destroyed and had no medical treatment, was well known for them. So when we got the great Khali, it was after his legs and back had been destroyed in Indian hardcore matches with subpar socialized medicine to heal him. And, we get the negative of it, Like, I mean, I don't want to sound like a wrestling historian, but whenever I get these new matches, I always try to get like some back in the day videotape. I, go to the magazines and look, can order some VHSs, or now you can go on YouTube and check some of this stuff out.
Right.
They post it. So it is a legitimate Indian style hardcore match, right? But we only got exposed to the worst of it because of 2.5 bad ones, and Great Khali being at the end of his career, essentially, when he came over.
Okay. My number 4 is an I Quit match.
Ooh, okay.
I can't stand these things because depending on who is in an I Quit match, you already know the outcome.
True.
I mean, for example, I think Cena was in 3 I Quit matches. Is the character of John Cena ever going to say I quit?
No.
I can't see that happening.
So done. You already know the outcome. And the last one we had was AJ Styles and Cody Rhodes at King and Queen.
Oh.
No, at not King and Queen, at Clash at the Castle. Is the character of Cody Rhodes going to say I quit?
No.
Not
No.
John Cena 2.0. Nope.
You already know. So you already know the outcome before the bell even starts. It's
fair point.
It's a waste of time.
Fair point.
All right, Ego, you're number 3.
3. Maybe I guess when it was going on, people liked it. I didn't understand it, therefore I also do not like it. Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero for control of Dominic.
That's a ladder match.
It's a ladder match.
Just a ladder match.
A ladder match. That's what I'm saying. Like,
so you don't like ladder matches?
No, it's not that. I know what made me upset.
See, this is why I asked the question. This is why I asked the question, Joker, that I asked about generalized or specific.
Generalized.
I'm sorry.
This is a ladder match. That's all this is.
It's a ladder match, but they're trying to give it a stipulation for custody of Dominic Mysterio. The problem I had was it could have been for an actual title. Like Shelton Benjamin was Intercontinental Champ, really? And then I know that the U.S. champ at the time was Orlando fucking Jordan. Like, you couldn't have taken the title off of them and actually made this for something other than some made-up stipulation.
So the custody of Dom match. The custody of Dom match. Okay. Matt, you're number 3.
Okay, so this, if you've never seen this thing, it's a little hard to explain, but it's called the Fight for Your Right tournament from TNA.
Okay,
and
I remember.
It's a 3 or 4 stage wrestling match where you have like I think it's like 20 guys or 50 something. It's a multiple of 3. Okay, and stage 1 is a reverse battle royal where you have to fight to get into the ring, and then but you can't eliminate like all 18 guys are in at once, but you can't eliminate guys who aren't in your bracket. Right? So there's a convolution. And when there's 3 guys left, they go to a single elimination triple threat to decide the winner.
Right.
It's really screwed up. Like, it's hard to explain. Just go watch it. There's like 2 of them or 3 of them at the end.
Any match that requires a flow chart is not good.
Yeah. Which is not, I mean, again, the skill of the wrestlers in the ring is not the issue. If you ignore the stupid rules and whatever, you'll see some cool stuff in it. I'm not, because see, this is back when the TNA guys were like Abyss and AJ Styles and Christian Cage, all these names, Net Raven, the wrestlers did the work. R-Truth was in this one of them. The wrestlers did the work. The match let them down.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, Brad, you're 3rd worst.
Okay, so I knew what I wanted to say, but I wanted to get a better way to describe it. So I looked into it, and it's best described as a substance gimmick match. Mud, pudding, jello, goo, whatever. We're wrestling in a pool of something.
Okay.
Some substance. Now, we know back in the Attitude Era, that was very popular because you'd see the women. I'm not going to call them wrestlers because they really weren't wrestlers. They weren't really. They were just like models wrestling in goo. I mean, it's like old school. I mean,
old school. Yeah.
Just go to a strip joint and pay for it. At least maybe you get touched. But even worse though. I mean, because they didn't have any wrestlability. But when you put the guys in there, it just looked very sloppy because the guys couldn't work well. So, and I saw there was one with Triple H before it became Triple H. And it's just like 2 guys wrestling in mud. This is like what country bumpkins do on the weekend. It's not pro wrestling.
My number 3 is an NXT Underground match. I don't like these matches.
What the hell is that?
NXT Underground. It's kind of like,
oh my god,
Fight Club. It's Fight Club without being Fight Club.
Is this where they would go down to the basement or something?
No. It's worse. They actually stay in the ring and they drop the ropes and fans circle the ring and they pound on the mat and they're trying to get in rhythm.
When was this? And the wrestlers have a MMA match, basically.
Right. It's basically an MMA match where the only way to win is to knock them out or tap them out.
When the fuck was this?
This is they've had 3 NXT Underground matches in the history of NXT. The first one was Natalya and Shayna Baszler. The last 2 have been Shayna Baszler and Lola Vice, and Jada Parker and Lola Vice.
Who was running NXT when these happened?
Shawn Michaels.
Fuck you, Shawn.
It sounds like it would work in theory, but I mean, in practice.
Well, again, they're going to experiment, and the idea is take these women with actual real combat sport experience and see if they could put on like a spar type of thing.
Right, but it doesn't work. The presentation is bad. Now, if they went into whatever building they're in and went down into the bowels of there, and it's like really dim lighting and stuff. Okay, you might be able to sell that. But yeah, so.
Sure.
All right, Ego, you're number 2.
All right. It's been said earlier, but Al Snow versus Bossman, Kennel from Hell. When I say that this match was dog shit, I'm not lying. I know,
Only if you
that's all I
stepped in it.
Fair. Yeah, that's
Okay.
all I got on that one. That's it.
All right. Matt, you're number 2.
Oh God, this is an easy one. In fact, if this other type of match didn't exist, this would have been so obvious. It's called an asylum match.
Okay.
It was Scott Steiner's personal match where they'd put they'd put a thumbnail like cage inside the ring, and you like the guys are like 5 feet apart, and basically it was Scott Steiner like murder stomping the dude inside an inescapable thumbnail cage,
Yeah.
and I thought at first it could be an interesting concept that they can't get away from each other, but it was too small to let them do much besides one guy beat the other guy up, and then beat Scott Steiner. And I was like, I just started hating it. I hate them. I've hated them since he ever did them. So,
All right. Brad, you're number 2.
My number 2 is going to be take off your opponent's clothing match, aka bra and panties. And the reason I put this actually above the substance mud match is because I would also lump in Briscoe and Patterson with a hardcore evening gown match, because women had evening gown matches where they were stripped down to the bra and panties, and then you get Jerry Lawler going puppies, 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 because apparently he didn't have sex even though his wife was out there, the cat was out there. But the reason I bumped this up is because literally they did this with 2 60-year-old men in evening gowns.
Right.
Why? Who wanted to watch this?
Makeup.
well, that as I said when I put it number 5, that's a 4. That's historical type of of match. Evening ground men matches. They were like comedy time fillers when in the olden days between the actual other matches, and they should have rightly faded away, like Briscoe and Patterson should have faded away. In the 80s, once they had the Titantron and could show you the promos instead of having to fill the time with midget matches and hardcore, and all this sort of stuff.
Sure.
Back when it was like the Carney days.
Yeah, a lot of these matches, like you were complaining about, the pudding matches and all that, they're left over from the Carney days and all that. When you had entertaining the crowd between the matches, and they should have all just faded away. But obviously, in Vince's mind, they didn't. So.
Right.
Brad, money.
Brad, I agree with you. Bra and panty matches is my.
But I never will complain about women in bra and panties.
I'm not saying I don't.
No.
I'm not opposed to seeing it. But again, as I said before, with the pudding whatever match, like go to strip joint, download Prawn or whatever.
Women wrestlers mostly dress like strippers now, so we get.
I mean, just get Instagram.
Pretty much.
TikTok. Come on.
I mean, you want a legit bra and a legit pudding match? Have I don't know, Mishin and anyone go at it in the supermarket. I mean,
that's cool. I'm okay with that.
So there's that. Broad panty matches is my number 2. The fact that they changed titles change hands over this type of
oh my god, I forgot about that.
Yeah, they had a championship match between Trish Stratus and Stacy Keibler. That was a bra and panties match.
I'm gonna have to download that to verify that actually happened later tonight.
Right, good for research purposes. My wife is totally not out of town right now.
And
they also and the fact that you had a Mae Young, Young and Fabulous Moolah bra and panty match. Nobody wants to see that.
Well, maybe the one when they had in the 30 years earlier, but
maybe
50 years earlier, maybe.
I doubt that. Maybe I don't know. But yeah, that's my number 2 bra and panty match. LeftEyeEgo, you're number 1.
Okay, so this is gonna be an interesting one for me. The Punjabi prison match, just in general. But I will say overall, number 1 was Randy Orton versus Jinder Mahal, because I was there for that. I was in Philly in the stadium for that match. I couldn't see shit. Number one, unless you fell, I didn't know what the fuck was happening in the ring. I assumed someone fell because I heard a slam. I assumed someone took a chop because I heard a slap. Outside of that, I couldn't see anything was happening. I tried taking photos. That wasn't doing anything. Video was terrible and grainy. And at the end, I just had a big headache. It was a pain in the ass. I was so frustrated with this match that for me, it's the worst gimmick that I could ever watch. I don't want to watch shit on TV, not live, or on DVD or CD. None of that shit. Get rid of it. I do not care. I'm sorry, I'm emotional about it. I was just that upset with it. It ruined almost the entire experience for me watching that. It's that bad.
All righty. Matt, you're number one.
Okay, so this one there's less humor to this one. I've hated these since I ever heard about them. I don't know if there's an exact name for them, but they're the sleep with your wife, valet, girlfriend matches. You know, where when you win a match, you get to take the dude's girlfriend as your girlfriend, or
partner swap match.
Yeah,
partner swap match.
Wife swap.
Wife swap, valet swap. I mean, the most obvious example is when Hulk Hogan and Macho Man were wrestling for Miss Elizabeth's hand. I hated that.
That's awful.
But then there was the whole. I mean, as entertaining as having Sandman, Dreamer, and Raven and all murder stomp each other was, when they would constantly trade Francine and Beulah around. I kind of disliked it, you know.
Don't blame you.
But like I said, but there's all sorts of matches like that if you'll find them. Now I don't mind when the woman betrays the dude and goes over as part of the storyline, right? But the whole "I want to wrestle you next week and I'm going to take your girlfriend home." I can't stand that. I just never stand up.
Gotcha. Brad.
So I'm going to flash back to 1998.
Okay.
Attitude Era.
Shocking.
Beanie Mac's like, you know what, guys? I know it's going to make money. Let's give our pro wrestlers boxing gloves and make them fight for real. And oh my God, let's let them actually hit each other and F each other up, because that's what the Brawl for It All was. Just untrained boxers, aka professional wrestlers, boxing each other, legitimately hurting each other. And then it ended with, at WrestleMania 15, Billy Gunn had advanced to the end and he got knocked out in 30 seconds by Butterbean. This was the dumbest idea ever and significantly dangerous. Like, guys were legitimately injured by this gimmick idea of let's have our pro wrestlers box for real.
All right. My number one, like Mr. Ego right here, the Punjabi prison match. Watching it on TV, it's impossible.
Yeah.
Unless you've got the cameras inside the cage, the bamboo cage, and not even the first set of the cage.
No.
The second set. It's got to be inside the second cage. So if you're watching from the hard cam, you can't see shit.
Nope.
There's nothing. This was such a bad idea. And they finally got a premium live event with Jinder in Delhi, India. They couldn't even sell that out because nobody wanted Jinder as a champion.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. That's right. They made him champion to try to bring in India.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
And Jinder, unlike Kali, is not actually like a real Indian wrestler.
So I'm doing some quick tabulating
I think we know what the number one's going to be.
Yes, that definitely.
Yeah.
So we actually have a three-way tie for third. We have a clear second and a clear first. Tied for third place with 5 points each. Brawl for All, Wife Swap, Kennel in Hell. Number 2, second place with 8 points. bra and panties match.
Yeah.
And number 1 for the worst gimmick match is the Punjabi prison match.
Yeah.
So be sure
Also,
to
it's
tune
kind of
in.
racist.
Yeah, a little bit. So
Little
be
bit.
sure to tune in. Be sure to tune in next week when we will be going on the other end for the best gimmick stipulation matches. But for the sake of time, we're going to jump on out of here. We are still a few likes short. If you're watching it on the replay, hit a like. If we can get to double digits,
Yeah.
come to start next week in our luchador mask that Mr. Ego has provided. Speaking of Mr.
We
Ego,
have to change our names.
yes, we will.
Yes.
Speaking of Mr. Ego, what do you have coming up, sir?
Dude, I'm actually going to be working on getting a replay clip for Ordinary Games from this past Sunday. I actually got to share to laugh at least one of my clips. So I'm going to work on and frame that, kind of do a best of clips. That's pretty much all I'll be doing. Working on some things behind the scene, but yeah, look out for that clip. It should be dropping Sunday at 6 p.m. Central.
Gotcha. Mr. Duke Devil 95, what do you have coming up, sir?
Tomorrow night, I will be on Static 2020's weekend pregame beginning at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Otherwise, you can check out my channel where I'm now actually putting out a lot more content. Today, I just a couple hours ago put out my reaction to the Daredevil trailer that just dropped. Daredevil on MCU, Disney Plus. I'm hopeful. I don't know. But also on my channel, I have finally started our Deep Space Nine live watch. And it is a long form watch of every Deep Space Nine episode. We started this week with Emissary, myself, Fractured Filter, and Adam the Renaissance Nerd did what turned out to be a 2.5 hour long video, but we broke it down to 40 minutes. It's going to be a weekly thing. And hopefully I continue doing it. Tomorrow morning, my review of the finale episode of Skeleton Crew, the show that wants to pretend it's in the Star Wars universe, comes out around 9 or 9:30. So, yeah, content coming out on my channel. Please go give me a subscribe. I'm getting close to 300.
Nice. Matt.
So what we got coming up tomorrow, I think Joker and I are on Roman's show for
Correct.
part 2 of Riddick, the Riddick saga, the Chronicles of Riddick. Back here next week, obviously. And my we were recording a video on. Also, my other thing I will do weekly is on the questionnaires. We talk about like Tolkien and other literary stuff and fantasy and all that. That's a pre-recorded video that tends to drop on the weekends. Someday I'll have content back on my channel. I'm trying to build up strength for all that as I fight back from my health issues, but it'll be there. Otherwise, I keep up with the guys here and we'll enjoy, putting matches.
Yes. And as for me, as Matt said, you can catch me with Roman of the Empire tomorrow. We'll be going over the Chronicles of Riddick. A fine film in the Pitch Black series. But until then, folks, be sure to stop in next week as we will again be going over the wonderful world of wrestling as we head to the Royal Rumble. And until then, folks, keep talking, keep smiling, keep having fun. And until then, Cero Miedo. Toodles. What's my thing right here? I did this. I did this wrong. Boomer this.
Here we go.
Is like gravity. All it takes is a little push.